Okay, so I try to read my Bible every night, and I kind of like hop around. I'm not like reading it from the beginning to the end. It's kind of just like if I hear a scripture or a story, then I want to go read that book for myself. And I also rely on reading plans too when I want to like feel inspired or find something good to read. So this one of the reading plans that I'm reading is called 40 Days of Lent. And the book yesterday that we were reading was Matthew, and it was Matthew 25, verse 14 through 30. And if you haven't read it, it's about the parable that Jesus gave, and it was three men that he gave gold to. And so the first man he gave 5 bags of gold, the second man he gave 2 bags of gold, and the last one he gave 1 bag of gold. And basically, he wanted them to go and make something from it, like get a reward on it. So, of course, the first two men that he trusted the most gold with, the one with the 5 and the one with the 2, they went and flipped it, and they made double their reward. And the one that was given the 1 bag, he knew that he wasn't going to do nothing with it. And of course, he went and proved them right and buried it. And so they had to come back, of course, and tell the master, which is, God, they had to tell him what did they earn. And so the first two, of course, like they explained that they were able to make more from it. And so he celebrated with them and told them like good job and all that stuff like that, and allowed them to keep it. And then for the third man, he was like, he yelled at him, of course, and was just like, why didn't you, use that money to make more like the rest of them did? And so he took it away from them. And so, reading the story at first, the parable, it was powerful. But I had questions, and then, how God works. So today's sermon was all about discipleship. And in the end, he brought up this scripture, our pastor. And so he brought up the scripture that I was reading, and he delved into it a little more. And so I kind of just want to do a little revoice and kind of explain how it affected me. And so basically, I understood that the first two men he trusted already. So he knew that they were going to make something from it. And you can relate that to God giving us all gifts, skills, talents, whatever you want to call it. He's given us all these things. And the last man, he also gave him gifts and talents, even though he knew he wasn't going to use it. And so at first, like when I read the story, what I thought, I was just like, why didn't God choose to give the first guy 5 and the second guy 2? Like he trusted them both to make on their reward. So why didn't he give them both 5? And one of our guest pastors, well, not guest pastors, one of our other pastors was speaking today, and he was just explaining like how we all have gifts and talents, but we may not have the same level of gifts or talents. And so, you might have the talent to be able to maybe speak, but it may not be as good as, say, your pastor at church or a famous speaker or whatever. Just like you may have the gift to sing, but you don't sound like, I don't know, Beyonce or somebody like that. Like somebody that can really, Whitney Houston. That's a better example. And so a lot of us get caught up in that idea of, oh, we have this gift or we have this talent, but it's not like theirs. It's not on their level. So I can't do what I really want to do because I don't have that level of skill. I don't have that level of a gift. And it's amazing to really think about it when you compare it to this parable, is that like God he never said that he was going to give us an equal amount of whatever our gifts or skills or talents are, but he expects us to use it. And if you're sitting here worrying about, oh, I don't have this amount of money, or I don't have this amount of influence, or I don't have this amount of whatever the case may be, you get so caught up in that you don't even use what he's given to you. And then you end up being like the man in the end that he gave the 1 bag of gold to that didn't do anything with it. He just buried it. I'm going to just sit on it and sit here and complain about what I don't have or what I don't have enough of to use it. And it's just like he gave us all something to use. So you can't expect him to give you $1 million when you can't even give $10 to a homeless person on the street, or you can't even give $10 to tithing, let alone But you want to sit here and complain about, oh, if I had $1 million, or if I was this person, or if I was the president, or if I had this power, or whatever the case may be, then I would be able to really make a difference in this world. I really would be able to change the world. I really would be able to tell people about God and all that stuff. And the reality is, if you're not doing it with the little bit that he has given you, there's a high chance that you're not going to do it when you actually have that. Like, you're just going to find more excuses. Because what the enemy will do is find more ways to distract you. He's not going to let up because you have more now, because God blessed you with more now. He's going to give you more to distract you from fulfilling your purpose. And our purpose, we have the skills, the gifts, or whatever, the talents that God has given us to reach people, to make disciples, to help cultivate the world of chaos that we're living in. And if you don't want to use the little bit that you have, and you're so concerned and so caught up with the fact that you don't have what other people have, or you don't have as much as the next person, then you're never going to use what you do have. And then you're going to spend your whole life doing nothing. Like, you're going to be, it's basically a waste. And so he said something else that was so profound tonight. It was just like, a lot of Christians think, oh, my whole purpose on earth is just to get saved and go to heaven. And it's like, no, you're wasting the whole journey. It's kind of like, why even find God if you're not going to truly use what he's given you? And he's given us all these gifts, skills, and talents to fulfill his purpose. And his purpose is laid out in the Bible. It's laid out in Matthew 28, and it's laid out in Genesis 1, where we were here to cultivate the world, and we're here to make disciples. And so I just thought that was so good, and I wanted to revoice a sermon, and it was so cool that I read it last night, and then he spoke on it today and just really answered some questions that I had about it. So, of course, if you have any comments, questions, whatever, leave them below. Share, like, all that good stuff. All right, y'all.